Well, the final thing I want to encourage you in this chapter of gathering the necessary resources is I want to encourage you to make a specific and thorough plan for following up with, communicating with those who support the work that you're doing. If it's they give a gift to your wish list, if it's they send a check to your ministry, if it's they write you a note of encouragement to tell you that they're praying for you and your wife and your children as you plant, that you find a way to follow up with them and communicate with those supporters what's going on in the ministry. There's nothing you can do to discourage a supporter from giving again in the future more than doing nothing to communicate with them about the progress you're making in your ministry. Those brothers and sisters who I'm supporting personally and my family, who send me regular updates about what's going on with them and their ministry, those are the ones that I'm compelled to continue to support year after year after year. Now, I know it's time consuming and labor intensive to put all that data together and do it in a consistent way and send it out. But if you don't do that, there's virtually no chance that somebody's going to continue supporting you on into the future with no communication from you about what is going on in the ministry. Now, there's never been an easier time to do this than now. On the internet, there are all sorts of email options that exist that allow us to manage databases and send those emails out with nice pictures and videos in them in a way that we've never been able to communicate as cheaply and easily before. So I want to encourage you to choose one of those systems and communicate regularly with those people who are supporting you in your work. I want to encourage you too to make sure that you're not doing it only in an impersonal group communication. There has to be some measure of time where you're communicating personally about the good things that are happening in your ministry. Maybe for those who are the most supportive of you and the most encouraging to you, maybe the most generous givers, that you do some specific and some focused communication to them about what goes on. Some of the guys that I support, the things that they do that make me most encouraged about their ministry is to simply send me a personal communication, like a text periodically when something great happens right in the moment. A few weeks ago, I had a church planter who texted me a picture on a Sunday morning of a person that he had just led to Christ and was baptizing. It was just a little selfie, and he said, "Thanks so much for supporting us. We're baptizing this brother this morning who's just come to faith in Christ. Couldn't have done it without you." And I got to see that picture and say, man, I was a part of helping that guy come to faith in Christ because I supported this church planter. Another guy had a conversation on a street corner with somebody and brought him almost to salvation in that conversation. And they texted me just to say, "Hey, pray for Ed. I just met him and we had a great conversation and he's considering the claim to Christ right now. Would you please keep him in prayer?" And that told me so many things. That this church planter that I'm supporting is doing the right kind of stuff out there on the field, and that he feels compelled to involve me in that work that he's doing. All those things are so helpful and so good. So set up group texts on your cell phone to be able to send out easy texts and emails, sort of impromptu things. But also be sure to set up some kind of group communication for anybody who's interested and let people sign up for that, like a newsletter. And you can do that. Costs virtually no money, takes a relatively small amount of time monthly, and you'll be able to communicate well with supporters.